Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome back to Connecting the Dots, everyone. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. It is Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, and we are coming to you live from Snarful Solutions Group right here in Sacramento, California.
And it's definitely a bright one here in Sacramento today. We're looking at a high of 88 degrees Fahrenheit, clear skies, just absolutely beautiful out there.
Well, that's quite a contrast to the national picture, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Across the country, we're tracking, a prolonged and pretty intense heat wave baking the Midwest all the way to the East Coast. Plus, there's excessive rainfall and flash flooding, especially down in the southern Rockies near those recent burn scar areas, New Mexico and West Texas.
Oh, wow. And
to top it off, severe storms are possible today, basically from the southern and central plains stretching up into the Great Lakes in the Northeast. So, yeah, a real mixed bag out there.
Quite a mix of weather, truly. Okay, but let's shift gears to the markets. They're looking a bit sunnier than that weather map, which is always good news.
Always welcome.
The Dow Jones today's up nicely, gaining 129.75 points. That's 0.30% daily increase, pushing its weekly change to a solid 1.51%.
Okay.
The S&P 500 is also in the green, up 13.64 points. That's a 0.23% daily rise. And it's seen a 1.18% jump over the past week.
Not bad.
Bitcoin, however, is down a bit today, losing about 336 points, 0.32% dip, but it's still holding on to gains for the week, up 0.46%.
So a bit of a mixed bag there too, but mostly positive vibes on the market front, despite all the turbulence.
Right.
And speaking of turbulence, the real fireworks today, I think, are in the tech sector.
Oh, yeah.
From self-driving cars finally taking their first, let's say cautious steps.
Cautious is the word.
To an AI arms race that's just redefining these trillion-dollar companies. We're going to peel back the layers on these stories and help you connect the dots.
Okay, let's jump right into our first story from today's Morning Star, because something big just started rolling in Austin, Texas, literally. Tesla has officially begun limited operations of its self-driving taxi service, which they're calling Robotaxi.
Robotaxi.
Okay, we're talking at a small-scale trial here, really small, around 10 Model Y vehicles, and crucially, they're confined to specific geofenced areas.
Right, limited zones.
And just to be clear, there are human safety monitors riding in the passenger seat.
Still got the humans involved.
For now, yes.
Yeah.
And the initial users, they're paying a flat fee of $4.20 per ride.
$4.20. Okay. But this isn't just about, a handful of robotaxis. This is the first tangible stress test of a multi-billion-dollar bet.
Right. Valuation.
Exactly. For years, Tesla's massive valuation has had autonomous ride-hailing just deeply embedded in its future revenue projections. So while it seems small, every single one of these Austin rides is now a live experiment validating or, potentially challenging a core pillar of Tesla's trillion-dollar market cap.
That's a really good point.
And early access riders are already sharing their experiences, and it's fascinating.
Oh, yeah. What are they saying?
Well, Tesla investor Sawyer Merritt posted on X about the empty driver's seat, noting that the safety monitor in the passenger seat didn't even have a steering wheel or pedals.
No backup controls for the human.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right. And DJ CEO, a co-founder of Neuralink, he even called it magic because it felt so normal.
Magic because it felt normal. That's quite something. Imagine stepping into a Tesla, seeing that empty driver's seat, and just trusting the AI to take you to your morning coffee.
Yeah.
A coffee that, by the way, might cost the same as your ride. It's wild to think about what that magic feeling really means for, our daily commutes down the line.
Absolutely. But speaking of real-world implications, this limited rollout of Robotaxi happened right after Governor Greg Abbott signed new Texas legislation.
Oh, timing.
Yeah, requiring a state permit for self-driving vehicles, and that's effective this September. This marks a notable shift toward more oversight. In a state that previously had a very, let's say, anti-regulation stance when it came to autonomous vehicles.
Right. Texas was pretty hands-off before.
Very. In fact, back in 2017, Texas actually passed a law preventing cities from even creating their own regulations for self-driving cars. So this is a change.
That is interesting, seeing that regulatory shift, especially when you consider, Elon Musk's long track record here.
Oh, the promises.
Exactly. He's been promising full self-driving Teslas for well over a decade now.
Feels like it.
we've seen this pattern of really ambitious timelines predictions of ubiquitous self-driving by 2016.
That staged video.
Right. The 2016 staged video suggesting no human input, and even that promised autonomous drive from LA to NYC by the end of 2017.
Which didn't happen.
Nope. These deadlines have consistently shifted. So given that long history of big promises, how much weight should we really put on this new claim of 1,000 robotaxis in a few months and expansion to San Francisco and Los Angeles?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because despite all that ambition, there's also the ongoing scrutiny from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA.
Right, the feds are watching.
They are. They're carrying out multiple investigations into Tesla's autopilot and full self-driving systems. They even sent a letter just in early May seeking more information about the technologies used in this robotaxi service.
Okay, so they're definitely digging in.
It's a real balancing act for Musk, who, on one hand, recently said the company was being super paranoid about safety, but on the other, sets these incredibly aggressive targets for expansion. It's quite the paradox, right? Extreme caution mixed with extreme acceleration.
It really is. And that $4.20 flat fee, it makes it feel accessible, like you said, like grabbing that morning coffee.
Yeah, relatable price point.
But it also underscores the incredibly high stakes here, not just for Tesla's tech to perform flawlessly, which is huge, but also for the entire regulatory landscape. Every incident, every positive review, every new city added or delayed, it's all going to have massive repercussions.
Absolutely massive. And this story, it isn't just about one company, is it? It's kind of a microcosm.
Exactly. It's a microcosm of the intense technological and regulatory shifts happening across the entire tech landscape, especially with AI.
You're right. The consensus among experts is that AI isn't just another tech trend. It's truly a new epoch, a whole new era.
Yeah.
And the biggest players, you know who they are, Apple, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon. They're all in this frenetic scramble to adapt, compete, and frankly, dominate this new era.
And it's not just them.
No, absolutely. This also includes key foundation model makers like OpenAI and Anthropic, the ones building the underlying technology that powers so much of what we see.
And this isn't some abstract corporate rivalry happening, behind closed doors either. This AI arms race, it impacts everything you do.
Everything.
It's reshaping how your devices work, how you search for information online, how you consume content, even how businesses operate. It truly is reshaping jobs and daily life for all of us. Let's maybe break down where each of these giants stands in this high-stakes game.
Okay, let's do it. Starting with Google. They are really the quiet leader in this space. Even if they don't always grab the splashy headlines, they possess arguably the best infrastructure in the world, built over 25 years. Larry Page, a co-founder, talked about AI being the ultimate Google way back in 2000.
Wow, that far back.
Yeah. They have an immense data advantage, having indexed the entire web for decades, not to mention YouTube for video AI, like their VO model. Plus, they've developed their own homegrown chips, TPUs.
Right, the TPUs.
And pioneered groundbreaking research like the transformer architecture, which, underpins so much of generative AI today.
So they have the foundations.
They really do. The big challenge for them, however, is that AI could fundamentally disrupt their core search business, their golden goose.
The innovator's dilemma. Okay, so Google's the quiet giant. But then you look at Apple and their big Apple Intelligence reveal. It felt, a bit underwhelming, didn't it?
It did seem that way to many.
Is this really a debacle for them, like some reports say, or is that just market hyperbole? It certainly feels like they're struggling to catch up.
Well, debacle might be strong, but they definitely face hurdles. Unlike Google, Apple lacks large data centers. They even use Google's facilities for things like iCloud backups and AI training.
Right, I read that.
And they've also been notoriously slow to attract top AI talent, partly due to their strict privacy concerns and their policies on research publication.
Which makes sense for Apple, but hampers AI research.
Exactly. Some are even suggesting that Apple is desperate and might need major acquisitions to stay in the game. People have floated the idea of them buying XAI, Elon Musk's startup.
Musk's XAI. Really?
Yeah, while that's largely considered a joke by many in the industry, it does highlight the sheer urgency they must be feeling right now.
Wow, okay. So Apple's playing catch-up. What about Meta?
Meta. Over there, it's being described as a 5-alarm fire for Mark Zuckerberg.
5-alarm fire. Yikes.
Yeah. Their latest Llama 4 model was reportedly disappointing internally, which has led to this frenzied effort to hire top talent. Zuckerberg himself is apparently personally reaching out,
Really?
offering hundreds of millions of dollars for a new superintelligence lab.
Wow. Big money.
Despite these internal challenges, though, Meta's open-source Llama 3.1 is now broadly available on platforms like WhatsApp and Meta AI, and through partner clouds like AWS and Microsoft Azure.
Oh, they're pushing their open source model out widely.
Exactly. That open-source strategy is a clear move to gain influence and become a foundational part of the broader AI ecosystem. It's a very different play than some of their rivals.
Interesting strategy. Okay, what about Microsoft? They seem like they were in the lead for a while.
They were initially seen as arguably the best positioned, right? Largely thanks to their Azure cloud platform and that deep partnership with OpenAI.
Yeah, the OpenAI deal looked huge.
It was. However, their relationship with OpenAI is now reportedly frayed. Yeah, with threats of antitrust complaints even being thrown around. And despite all the integration, Bing hasn't really gained much ground against Google search.
Still hasn't moved the needle much.
Not really. So Microsoft really needs to secure Azure's access to leading models, plural, and strategically invest in alternatives. Think xAI or Mistral. It's kind of a precarious balancing act for them right now.
Okay, so Microsoft's position isn't as secure as it looked.
Amazon, in contrast, seems to have a generally more optimistic outlook, I'd say.
Oh, why is that?
Well, AI actually benefits pretty much all their existing businesses, especially AWS, which is, the largest cloud provider globally.
Yeah.
And it also has huge potential for Amazon.com itself, particularly with product recommendations, making your shopping experience even more personalized.
Right, smarter recommendations.
Plus, their partnership with Anthropic, another leading model maker, is seen as much more stable compared to Microsoft's situation with OpenAI. That's a huge advantage for them.
Stability is good. Okay, so that's the big five.
Yeah.
But what about the companies actually building the models?
Right. The pure play foundation model makers themselves. The ones building the brain power, so to speak, for everyone else.
Yeah.
You've got OpenAI, obviously, with ChatGPT dominating the consumer AI space, though they're often in conflict with companies like Microsoft and Apple over customer relationships. Then there's Anthropic, who are strong in coding and with developers, and they have that more stable partnership with Amazon we mentioned.
Okay.
And then there's xAI, Elon Musk's startup again, which is facing its own challenges with high infrastructure costs and its ownership by X, formerly Twitter, which apparently makes it a less attractive investment target for some. It's a crowded, intense field.
It really sounds like an arms race, as you put it.
Yeah.
And it impacts everything from the apps on your phone to, like, the algorithms recommending your next online purchase.
Exactly. You can see how these corporate strategies directly translate into changes in your daily digital lives.
So, if these giants are battling this hard, does that mean, like, your phone's assistant is suddenly going to get way smarter next week? Or are we talking about a much slower, kind of behind-the-scenes evolution that will quietly reshape things over time?
I think it's probably a bit of both, isn't it? Some flashy features, but a lot of quiet, steady change underneath.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, that AI arms race is certainly heating up, and you know what else is boiling over? The sheer amount of money pouring into this space.
Oh, the money is just staggering.
For our final piece of the puzzle today, we're looking at a record-shattering investment.
Yeah, this next story is, frankly, mind-boggling. A new AI startup called Thinking Machines Lab.
Thinking Machines Lab, okay.
Launched by former OpenAI CTO Mira Murati, has reportedly raised close to $2 billion.
$2 billion?
In a seed funding round. And get this. The company was valued at an astounding $10 billion before this investment even closed.
Hold on, I have to stop you there. $2 billion for a seed round.
Yep.
And they reportedly have no product, no revenue yet. How is that even possible? What does that tell us about the current investor, frenzy in AI?
It tells us a lot. I mean, for context for everyone listening, a seed round is typically the very first formal investment into a startup, usually for much, much smaller amounts.
Pennies compared to this.
Exactly. So $2 billion right out of the gate for a company with no product that's not just big, it's virtually unheard of. It signals extreme investor confidence, or maybe, extreme FOMO, fear of missing out in the market.
Has to be FOMO, partly.
Its value comes entirely from its founding team. We're talking about AI heavy hitters from places like OpenAI, Meta, Google, and Mistral AI, including former OpenAI Chief Research Officer Bob McGrew.
So it's a bet purely on the talent.
It absolutely is. This really shows that top talent in the AI space is just incredibly valuable right now, more valuable than almost anything else. And it's not just about big money, it's about backing the best minds. Thinking Machines Lab has an ambitious future vision. They aim to make AI systems more widely understood, customizable, and generally capable.
Okay, so more accessible AI.
And they also intend to build multimodal systems that work with people collaboratively.
Collaboratively. Interesting.
This monumental investment will fuel the development of AI that could fundamentally change how we interact with technology on a very personal level, shifting it from just being simple tools to maybe genuine collaborators.
The scale of this funding is just unprecedented hugeness, as some are calling it. It's like a sci-fi movie budget for a company that basically just emerged from stealth mode.
Right.
But when you think about it, maybe it makes a strange kind of sense, especially given OpenAI's own massive valuation, $300 billion or something, which is largely driven by its team's prowess.
That's the connection, yeah.
So this kind of investment, it directly connects back to that broader AI landscape we were just discussing. It just accelerates the entire field, potentially bringing advanced AI capabilities to real people even faster than we might have imagined.
Absolutely. It's a huge bet on the future, and one that suggests the pace of AI development is only going to quicken.
It's the ultimate validation of the talent and the vision in this space, I suppose.
Precisely.
Okay, so to recap our tech stories today, we started with Tesla's limited Robotaxi launch in Austin, a small but really significant step for Elon Musk's ambitious vision and a major test for their valuation. Then we dove into the intense competition and shifting strategies among the big tech players, Apple, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, as they battle for dominance in the evolving AI landscape, with every move impacting your daily tech experience.
Right, that whole arms race.
And finally, we just covered the absolutely incredible record-setting $2 billion seed round for Mira Murati's new AI startup, Thinking Machines Lab, signaling, unprecedented faith in top AI talent.
And these aren't just headlines, folks. These developments are actively shaping how you work, how you commute, and truly the future of how you interact with technology every single day.
So as these tech giants battle it out, and as these just unprecedented sums pour into AI startups, sometimes with no product, it really begs the question, are we on the cusp of an AI-driven future that finally delivers on decades of promises, or are we maybe witnessing a hype cycle so immense that the fallout could reshape the industry in ways we can't yet imagine?
Something to ponder, I guess, as you navigate your own increasingly AI-powered daily life.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.